Spring is in the air, at least at the Cleveland Botanical Garden, where plant fans are going crazy for Orchid Mania. Cynthia Druckenbrod is here to share how this colorful event will brightens everyone's day. Cynthia is the Director of Horticultural Exhibits and Communication at the Cleveland Botanical Garden. So happy to have you at the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Thank you. Yeah, I brought a couple friends today to show you how beautiful, of course, orchids are and how easy they are to take care of. And it's a very accessible show. And the fun thing is that it's different every single year. It's different for us. It's different for our guests. And we have a theme this year of hanging gardens. So you're going to see orchids throughout the entire building in the glass house, hanging above your head and in front of your nose and at your feet. It's going to be hanging orchids everywhere, and it's really a lovely show.
That's not what we usually expect. We usually expect orchids to be kind of like, you know, sitting here on the table. So let's talk about orchids themselves first.
Sure.
So are they really for everyone? I've heard that orchids are hard to grow.
You know, originally I think people did have that thought, but now that you see them in grocery stores and big box stores and florist shops, you see orchids everywhere, especially Phalaenopsis orchids, which are the moth orchids, which you're very familiar with. But you're starting to see more diversity as well, like these slipper orchids that we have here. But Phalaenopsis is a great beginner orchid.
Okay, I was going to say, is there something for me who can't grow anything?
You can grow those at home, and we have Orchid Doctor on Saturdays during the Orchid Mania show, and we can tell you how to raise these orchids in your house. They're very simple. The biggest trick is getting them to rebloom. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging to do that, but if you lower their temperatures and sometimes use cooler water, sometimes that will get them to set spike and rebloom for you. But if you can't, you can always buy another one.
So typically it's one bloom unless you can really kind of work with it?
Well, usually you can get several blooms per stalk, and sometimes people can get 10, 15 blooms per stalk, and they will last months at a time.
Wow.
So that's why they're such a rewarding plant to have at home. But like I said, Phalaenopsis is a great beginner orchid, and we tell you all about that during the Orchid Doctor.
Do they smell good? Do they fill your home with fragrance?
The original Phalaenopsis that were from the rainforests of Southeast Asia did have a fragrance, and some do. But most of the Phalaenopsis orchids do not have a fragrance. They are bred for their beautiful colors and their big flowers that last a long time. Same with these guys. These slipper orchids don't have a fragrance, but so many other flowers do. Do you remember those big corsage orchids that you would wear for prom or whatever, you know, event, homecoming? Those are called Cattleya orchids, and most of those are very, very fragrant. They smell like vanilla or oranges or just other beautiful things, jasmine. So they have a beautiful fragrance, and some don't smell so good.
Oh, yeah?
We have some orchids actually that have a different fragrance, sort of like, there's one called Doggy Doo, and
I can imagine what that smells like.
Let me tell you how popular that is. When we have that at the Botanical Garden, everybody wants to smell it and share it with their friends. But I have to tell you, there's a reason why they smell like that. It's because they're trying to attract their pollinators, which are flies. And flies are attracted to that, right?
Of course, of course.
Right, exactly.
Right. So we're going to see orchids like this and
you're
all
gonna
different
see,
kinds
you're gonna see
everywhere.
Thousands of flowers all throughout the Botanical Garden, hanging at all different levels, and you're going to be immersed. When we most need the color and the fragrance in the middle of February, we start January 28th, we go through March 5th. Of course, there are programs every weekend, and we're open late on Wednesday nights. So if you want to come for Orchids After Dark to enjoy beautiful music, beautiful flowers, food, it's just a great time with your family or your friends.
It sounds like a fantastic event. And
these
guys are so cute.
Aren't they, darling?
See more.
This one's called Pinocchio. Isn't that precious?
Oh, yes, very much. You can't see probably on the screen, but they got little furries on those.
They do. I mean, orchids
looks like little arms with fur.
They're extremely intricate. I mean, there's no reason why. I mean, they are the most diverse plant family on the planet.
Wow.
And we will have thousands in bloom for you at the Botanical Garden for Orchid Mania.
Sounds great. Now, it may be dark and gray outside, but the inside of the Cleveland Botanical Garden is bursting with color. To find out more about Orchid Mania, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Cynthia for planting herself at our table today to talk about orchids.
For more information, call the Cleveland Botanical Garden at 216-721-1600 or log on to www.cbgarden.org. Next,